men have emotions and feelings too. And they want them to be recognized and dealt with without saying, hey, honey, you hurt my feelings. I really don't like how you do such and such, blah, blah, blah. Because first of all, a real man ain't gonna do that anyway. Assalamu alaikum, peace. I am Coach Nazir, one of the founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, as well as one of the authors of the book, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored. Okay, welcome to this series. You want to know why men want multiple wives? Well, if you haven't already seen the first video in the series that shares about it not being related, a man's desire not being related to whatever the woman is or is not doing, feel free to check out that video. Now, you can watch these in any order, but I did let you know that there's basically two categories. There's the thing that has nothing to do with the wife whatsoever, meaning what she's doing or not doing does not have any impact on his desire. And then there's the second one, okay? Now, the second one is the things that she may be doing or not doing, or he's feeling or not feeling due to his marriage may strengthen that desire, which I believe is already there anyway, because men are polygynous by nature. All right, that's my firm belief. And we see that enacted all throughout society. We can try to be blind to it or act like we don't know or not be adults and see what's going on, but it is what it is. So with that being said, today is a special day. Today's a special day. Every day is a special day. I feel like Mr. Rogers, today is a special day. All right, but this video is a special video. I really haven't touched on these things before, but coaching hundreds of men and working with them in our student area with members and clients and whatnot, there are a number of different things that continue to be brought up as reasons that men desire to marry multiple women. So when it comes to wives' characteristics, that's kind of what we're dealing with now. And under this basket, if you will, mainly three different categories. Men feel unfulfilled emotionally, physically, and mentally. And under each one of those, I'm going to share with you what that means, not just in this one video. Again, it's a series, meaning that there's more than one. But let me jump into it though, because the first reason, some people say, you know what, he's telling me it's my fault, or he said it's not my fault and I really don't believe him and everything else. Listen, I'm going to let you know whether your husband is or is not going to let you know, or maybe this does, relate to your relationship, or maybe it doesn't. But I'm going to let you know some of the most common factors when it comes to what's going on in the marriage or what may not be going on in a marriage related to why your husband desires another wife. Now, a wise woman is going to recognize what I'm talking about and take some notes. She's going to question herself honestly and say, am I doing these things? Is this me? Am I, furthering the desire of my husband to want to marry someone else? Because let's jump into it. The number one complaint that men bring to me about their marital situation, and many times, it's still covering the honor of the spouse and everything else, and not just outright complaining and bitching and moaning. But what they're saying is, you know what? I do not have peace. They say it in a number of different ways, but I'm categorizing it as I don't have peace. She does not help me achieve that level of peace I desire in my marriage. Now, what does that look like, Coach Nazir? I'm glad you asked. The first thing it looks like is a bad attitude. A bad, negative, down, dark attitude. Someone who's ungrateful, someone who's complaining all the doggone time, someone who could look out a window out of a beautiful sunny day with a gorgeous sunset or something going on, right? And instead of seeing the beauty outside the window, they'll see the spots on the window and complain about that. Some of you know what I mean. We all like to avoid the negativity. Well, we should, but we generally like to avoid negative people that bring us down instead of lift us up. That bring doom and gloom versus that sunshine. That brings stale, funky air and an odor than a breath of fresh air. So a bad attitude. Someone who's ungrateful. That goes a long way. The most important characteristic for those men who have these healthy, happy, fulfilling relationships is that after they deal with the world, they're battling, whether they're battling in doing business as entrepreneurs or investors, or they're battling on the job to make sure they can provide for their family and protect them from the different rising costs and things that are going on financially and emotionally and so on and so forth. They want to come home and find peace. They don't want to come home and feel they get blasted to pieces or they're not being recognized. Again, if you want the truth, I'm going to give it to you. A woman with a bad attitude, that type of stuff is contagious. It creates contagion. No matter how long you hang around somebody or something, there's going to be some form of contamination. The Prophet, the Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessing be upon him, had spoken of your friends and people that you're around as associates. For example, talked about the person who was around a blacksmith. Well, if you're around a blacksmith, and you know you're dealing with fire and ash and ore and all that kind of stuff, whether you're making swords or whatever else blacksmiths make, you're going to stink. You're going to smell like that environment. But if you're around someone who deals with perfumes and colognes, you're also going to have a smell, but it's going to be a pleasant odor. That's a great example of comparing attitudes. If you're around someone who's going to help you smell good and bring that fragrant and everything else, right? Smell, that's kind of a neutral term. But when you describe it as a scent or an odor, they're not the same. Like, hey, mom, hey, babe, I love that odor of the food. What? The scent of the food, the smell of the food. Yeah, that's sounds good, right? It's positive. But the odor, are you the odor to your husband? A wise one will be objective and answer that question. Has he said you've been negative before? Are you easy to be around? Are you easily approachable? Can you have an open, honest communication? Can he bring something to you without you getting defensive right away? Or you bat it down immediately? Just saying. What I'm saying to you is men have emotions and feelings too. And they want them to be recognized and dealt with without saying, hey, honey, you hurt my feelings. I really don't like how you do such and such, blah, blah, blah. Because first of all, a real man ain't gonna do that anyway. Hey, it's show and tell time. You see this? I got this when I was traveling with my family, my wives, and my children over the last couple of years. This is really kind of a coat of arms, if you will, a coat of honor. See, this is how Turkish soldiers used to pretty much dress and be down, or the leadership did, and you really can't see it necessarily unless you look really close, has Arabic writing on it. Now, why am I talking about that? Am I trying to sell this? No, I'm not. This is mine. But what I am saying is that men used to be different. They used to go and strive and conquer and expand, all right? And it started with family. They had strong families. Many men had multiple wives. It's called polygamy. But today, even though it has a lot of answers for modern day problems, most have no idea what to do. So they cheat, they sneak around, they pay in, all kinds of crazy things, even though I believe men are polygynous by nature. With that being said, where can you learn about how to practice it in a healthy manner, where it's honorable? It raises the status of wives. It allows men to become more, as they should strive to be, more than twice the men. We need leaders. We need those who are serious about the family so that we can return to glory on whole nother levels, instead of just having things as remnants of the past. So if you want to learn more about polygyny, then go to polygamyroadmap.com. Read the roadmap, understand how you can become more than twice the man, or how your wives or wife can also be part of that legacy. Go, polygamyroadmap.com. Hope to see you there. Something like peace. You may express it in a different way, but a man who's hurt will likely get angry first. So, are you fulfilling your husband's emotional needs by being peaceful? Now, that doesn't mean you're positive. Doesn't mean you're just negative. I don't believe people just being positive or negative. Yes, there's polarity. Sometimes we be positive, we be negative. But the one thing I want you to do as an adult that we all should be able to do, we have the ability of being able to discern what's positive and negative. That ability is called awareness. Are you self-aware? Because there can be little things that you're doing, little things over and over and over that lead to big things. Just like it says, it's the little things that matter. It's the little things that count. Yeah, it's the little things that turn into big things that can make you, no matter how physically attractive you are, become enormously unattractive. Again, a wise woman is going to take notes and ask herself objectively, how's her attitude? Does she brighten up her husband's day? Or does she darken it? Very important, because if you darken it, you're destroying the peace. Outside the house, you could deal with all the other stuff, all the other war, all that kind of stuff, but you know what looks more attractive when you're outside the house? Somebody who is peaceful, has a good attitude. So keep that in mind. That's the number one thing when it comes to wives increasing the desire of their husbands to want someone else. Now you may think, well, he can just go and get someone else and blah, blah, and I'll go. It really ain't that easy, is it? It's not. Or you're going to find a good man. Especially, again, if he's a good man. Not a good man, it really don't matter. What if he's a good man, he's providing, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, everything else? What's your problem? What's wrong with being self-aware and being more positive? What's wrong with knowing his love language and not just being worried about what you and what he can do for you? He's already doing for you. He's already providing for you. In the minimal amounts that can be and should be reciprocated is respect. And that respect goes a long way to providing peace. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. That's really the first area. So what does that look like? Right? What does this bad attitude look like? Being argumentative. Off the rip. Husband comes in, says something, wants something done or what have you, got something to say, automatically, bam! He's hit with a flippant response. Or do it yourself. Or, well, how come and why this and blah, blah, blah. Why you gotta be argumentative? If I'm the man, I'm the leader of this house. I want to lead this family this way. This is his vision. You said, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to marry this man. He got somewhere to go. He's moving in a direction I want to move toward, if that's what you said when you agreed to get married. And you have this vision, you're growing, or maybe you developed the vision after you got married. But you still, as the man, have to lead it. You have to move in a certain direction. You may want something done. Don't cause any type of harm. Why you got to get the back talk? Why you got to get the lip? Or is it, maybe it's not any of that, but maybe it's a rolling of the eyes, or it's a turning the back, or it's a shaking the head and all this, your neck got to move all around. Maybe that's it. Argumentative. So now you have to have a wrestling match. You have a verbal sparring match when it's something that you want done. Maybe it's something that the husband wants done. Like, look, by the time I get home from work, by the time I get home from an appointment, I want to have some food. Maybe when you eat, think about me so that you also make a plate. Now, I may not even be hungry when I get there, but the thought counts because it's the little things. So now the food may be wrapped up. I might be able to warm it up later. And that makes me feel good as a husband that I'm thought about. So you get that. But again, being argumentative. So these are just a couple of things when it comes to lacking peace in that household and what it looks like. The wise wife, can you be objective enough to evaluate yourself? To think of the concerns that your husband may have expressed in the past, or maybe complaints or different character traits he said he doesn't like, or things that you may not do that he would like you to do that really aren't necessarily that big a thing. Simply respecting someone, like that's not something hard to do. Sadly, these days, we have more concern for strangers or people that we don't know in public. You bump into someone in public, or, someone drops something, or maybe a child throws something at them, what have you. No, excuse me, I'm sorry, I didn't mean blah, blah, blah. More politeness in public than many do in their own homes. We also see what Malcolm X has to say about that too in this series. I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. So, if you got some good stuff from this video and you stuck with me to the end to learn more reasons that men want multiple wives, and you want to let me know. Put down below, no peace, P-E-A-C-E, because that is the main reason, our main complaint husbands come to me with that is going on in their family, where he doesn't want a divorce. He can still deal with it. He has a duty to protect his family. For those who say and think just divorce is just some easy thing, especially when there are children involved. He's still wanting to, provide and protect and everything else, but he wants a higher level and he's tired of constantly dealing with this argumentation, going back and not having peace. And he knows that he can take care of and fulfill his responsibility with multiple wives. And you just simply increasing that desire. So put down no peace. Men, you're watching this video, you stuck with it to the end. Let me know. How does it relate to you? Is it you want more peace? Am I off somehow? With all the clients, people I work, am I off? Or is it what it is? With that being said, I'm Coach Nazir. I help people get their shift together. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to get the real when it comes to polygyny and what we're doing. And better than that, make sure you're on our email list at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com. With that, be outstanding, and remember, a wish changes nothing, but a decision changes everything. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.